Welcome to Dental Unscripted. Where Mike Dinsio and Paula Quinn break down the practice ownership journey, one episode at a time. Starting up, buying, and running a successful dental practice.
What up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Dental Unscripted. This is Michael Dinsio, and I am excited to be here with you today. Couple things. As I'm announcing, I got to keep doing this for those that are loyalists. I apologize for continuing to repeat myself, but we have a new brand, as you guys can see, the YouTubers out there. Dental Unscripted is the new rebrand. We are bringing all episodes, all podcasts, all channels into this one. So if you are hearing this episode on Dental Acquisition Unscripted, or you're hearing it on Startup Unscripted, I need you to go over and subscribe to Dental Unscripted, as we are bringing the mothership and creating a mothership and putting everything underneath it. So this is one channel, Dental Unscripted, and the idea is that we are going to be talking all things practice management, not just startups, not just acquisitions, but now that you're owners, you all have been with me for about 4 years now. Now that you're owners, we need to get Paula on the show, who's going to be the co-host of Dental Unscripted. But we need Paula's insight, Stefani's insight, Olivia's insight. We need all of the next level coaches to be bringing way more tips and tricks about how to run the business. I've helped you get into business and own. Now these ladies are going to help you, and Michael too. We got a Michael Clark now on the team. And so we're just going to bring you guys more information about how to run the practice. But so again, subscribe, like, whatever you got to do on all the channels that you're on. Dental Unscripted, it's simple, a turquoise and navy blue logo. All right, well, so without further ado, as always, let's just jump right into it. I've got a phenomenal guy, and this is actually my second time bringing him on the program. I think it was about 2 years ago. I interviewed Michael Arias, who's the guru of ground marketing. He has his own podcast that I've been on. I love his podcast. If you're a startup person, you got to check out his podcast. Michael, I'll let you kind of go there, but we're talking all things ground marketing, grassroots marketing. And I had a really good interview with him 2 years ago. We got to bring him back. Michael, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on. I remember your episode. It was 387, and you talked about which personality are you best suited for, acquisition or a startup. And that episode did fantastic, man. Till today, people are still like, am I an acquisition? So it's a good starting point. It's a really good starting point. Episode 387 on the Dental Marketer podcast, where, you know what
387,
I mean?
387. Yeah. He quoted it. Nice.
387. Yeah. And I mean, like, you're a wealth of knowledge. So everybody listening, this is a great podcast, Dental Unscripted. So I appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, dude. No, it's my pleasure. And like I said, his podcast is bomb. So now that we've like promoted each other's podcasts, let's get into some potatoes here. So Michael, like when I think of like these guys, these startups, and hell, let's even talk about the guys that buy practices. Let's not exclude them either, because when you buy a practice, you got to figure out how to grow, because you're going to have some of that attrition. But for sure, startups and acquisitions. I think ground marketing, which is what you've coined. You're the ground marketer. Anybody wants to hear about Michael, Google that, ground marketer. You'll find all of his stuff, ground marketing. I think this is the secret weapon to marketing, and it's hard, and it's but it doesn't cost that much, which is what I love, that it doesn't cost a bunch, but it's all sweat, blood, tears, all the things. How would you describe what ground marketing is, Michael? Like, just give us like your definition of what it means.
Yeah, great question, man. So ground marketing is for people or practices who they want to have the strongest connection with people in their community, right? Not just new patients. So like every handshake holds the potential of a lifelong relationship. It's the art of building trust before profit. So I would say ground marketing is more sophisticated than guerrilla marketing, right? And let me give you an example, right? And if we could, I'm gonna just start sharing tactics now, right?
Go,
Like,
brother. Go.
so for example, a lot of the times we think this is what ground marketing is. We walk in, hey, I'm introducing myself. I'm new in the neighborhood, or maybe you've been there for a while. You know, we're the practice, we've taken over, whatever. And I'm the doctor. Here's the gift basket. Here's some donuts. Here's some referral pads, right? And you walk away. They're like, oh, okay, thank you, right? The office manager, whatever. You walk away from that feeling good. You have hope, but hope doesn't pay the bills, right? You need actionable results. Like you need tangible names, numbers, people who are going to come to visit you. So, real quick, Michael, what's the nearest bank near you? Like closest bank to you right now?
There's a bunch of them, but the closest is Chase, right up the road.
Okay. So let's just say you're like, you know what? I want those tellers to come in here. I want some of the personal bankers, all these people, right? So you could go in there like with that intention, be like, we're just going to go walk around and introduce ourselves. But that's going to do the same thing, right? Just to hope. But you could have a strategy. You could be more specific on it. So you walk into Chase, right? Nothing in hand, just like in your scrubs or as if you're just walking by from lunch and you're like, oh, forgot to cash my check, right? So you walk into Chase and you're just standing there intentionally. Just stand there once you walk in there. Guarantee you.
Be that weirdo that's like,
yeah, just looking around.
I'm eyeing you.
Yeah, just look around. And then immediately the personal banker or somebody walks up to you and says, hi, can I help you? Did you need anything? And that's when you say, yeah, you know what? I'm just, I wanted to see if I can have some of your guys' information on hand, if that's okay. And then stop right there. Curiosity sparks immediately from the other person. And they're going to say, what kind of information? What do you need? Blah, 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 right? Oh, yeah, you know what? I'm with the dental office right down the street, or I own the dental practice right down the street. And I wanted to have some of your information on hand for our patients who are looking to pay for bigger procedures. And they're going to be like, oh my gosh, yeah, let me go sit you down with our loan officer. Let me go sit you down with this person. They treat you like royalty, right? Do you need water? Do you need this? Yeah, I just got to get back really quick. You're going to talk with the person for like 2 minutes. Yeah, here's our options. Here's this. Let me put it in a nice folder for you. All these things, right? Then you're going to say, oh, wow, thank you so much. This looks like enough. I appreciate that. By any chance, would it be okay if I give you guys some of our information? Now, in the history of history,
Question?
Michael.
Question?
Yeah.
Like
question
inquisitive?
mark.
Like, oh, would it be okay if, is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Nobody in the history has ever said, no, just take my stuff, right? They're going to say like, no, yeah, definitely, man. I bring it on. Give us some of the stuff. We would love it. So you go to your car, right? Unless you're like right next door, you don't want to make it that long of a period, like 30 seconds or less, right? Go to the car, get some of your business cards, flyers, whatever. But here's the key, man. Do all that, but also make it look a little with grit. So have a sign-up sheet too. So you come back, then you're like, okay, here's some of our information too. And what I wanted to do, or what the doctor wanted to do, just for the employees here, is give you guys, boom, an incentive, right? And that incentive is going to be written on top. It could be free whitening. It could be office tour. It doesn't even have to be anything. It can just say, if you ever need a dentist, put your name and number down, best time to reach you at, and I personally will give you a call. Then they're going to be like, okay, thank you so much. The sign-up sheet, right? And then here's the key. You're going to ask, when's a good day to come back and pick that up? Now, here's the key.
Wait, Michael. I mean, you're dropping so many goodies, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm slowing you down because you're just dropping some goodies.
Well, it's because I want to let you know, like, this is what the ground marketing is. This is why it's more sophisticated. Yeah. Than just like, hey, we're just dropping off freebies. Bye-bye. Right.
And that's what everybody does, right? Yeah. And it doesn't work. And as the consultant that challenges people to go out and have these conversations, they come back all jacked up. I'm like, nothing's going to happen with that meeting. I promise. Mm-hmm. It's consistency, right? But I don't want to share my stuff. Michael, you're the guy. So let's take this in chunks. So the first part is, can we break down the why behind what you just did there? Before we get to the strategy of the signups, I want to break you down right now. I want to break you down to the first part. The first part is going in and disarm. What I heard was the training you just gave us is going in, disarm, right? And be inquisitive about their business. Is that what I'm hearing?
Exactly. Yeah. Reciprocity. So like we get in our head too much, Michael, like in the sense of we're like, okay, we need to be nicely dressed. We need to look good. And then you start having paralysis by analysis, right? Oh no, you pull up. I can't tell you how many times this happened. And so I'm saying this because this has happened to me a ton of times. So you can feel okay, everybody listening, if this has happened to you. And it still happens to me till today. I'll pull up to like an LA Fitness or an event or a business. And I'm like, oh man, I psych myself out.
Yeah.
I psych myself out. Yeah. So from that point on, if I psych myself out, then I'm like, oh, okay. I get back, right? So you have to count Mel Robbins. Do you know who Mel Robbins is? The book?
No, but
The
sounds
5
like
second
I need
rule?
to know. No.
Okay.
5 second what?
The 5 second rule.
Okay. No.
There's the book called The 5 Second Rule by Mel Robbins. Changed my life. Literally, scientifically.
Let's put that book in the links. If it changed Michael's life, I want it to change my life. So
yeah,
let's put Mel Robbins' book down in the description there.
It's such a good book because it's backed by science, but at the same time, it lets you know, like, within 5 seconds, if you don't do what you're gonna do, you're gonna start talking yourself out of it. 5 seconds. You wake up in the morning and you're like, I got to go to the gym. But if you're like, let me put a little snooze button, right? That's more than 5 seconds. It starts getting worse, right?
Done. Yeah.
So same thing. You pull up to this location. Don't overthink it. 5 seconds. Just get out of the car within 5 seconds, right?
Okay.
And so, yeah, you're getting out. The why behind it is more like, hey, I want to know about you. I want to show that I care. I care about my patients too.
Yeah.
They don't know that you have 100 patients or one patient. They don't.
They'll take 100 patients by the way. They'll take 100 clients.
They'll take whatever, right? But at the same time, you're like, hey, I want to know about you guys, right? And so that's they've been trained to talk about themselves and their company for so long. They have all these business cards that they've had for like years that they haven't ever gave out. Exactly. So then they're like, oh, now's the opportunity.
Right.
It's here. So yeah, that's the why.
Okay. So face your fears, get in there, act inquisitive, reciprocity, get the juices flowing. Then they start selling you. And that's what they want to do, by the way. That's what they want to do. They'll chew that up. Right. Okay. So now we're past that. Then you're like, oh, this is great. So now it's like, I gave you an opportunity to sell me, and that makes them feel really good. So now they owe you a little bit. They owe you. So you're disarming them and saying, hey, would it be okay? Of course. Would it be okay? I love that. Would it be okay if I could share some of the stuff that I have with you? And of course they're going to say yes. Okay. So that's all stage one. Fight it, inquisitive, let them talk, and then ask for what you want. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Now let's keep rolling, Mike, because what you're doing is beautiful. So now they said yes. Okay. Let's take it to stage two.
And real quick, if I could, before that, one major thing is we can say all this, and there's scripts for it all, right? Each specific business. But your tone is like way more important, right? Okay. You can mess up as much as you want, but if you have that friendly tone, they're going to be like, oh yeah, definitely. Right. So in that moment where you're talking to them and they're trying to sell you, they're like, yeah, we have this and that and that. Create conversation. Don't try to rush it. If they have the time, be there with them in that time and create conversation. Like, oh, is it normally this busy? It doesn't matter if there's nobody there, right? Just, is it normally this busy at this time?
Yeah.
Great. Oh, you do this too. How long have you been doing? Like, be their friend. They're going to be more likely to sell you to their employees when you have that sign-up sheet and everything like that. So yeah.
I love that. Okay. So, all right. So the idea then where you're going with it now is you're going to ask them ultimately for a sign-up sheet to try to get people more specifically. You're not thinking of their clients. You're thinking about the employees in this moment, right?
Yeah.
Or are you thinking about it all? Like where's your head go with these small businesses?
So when it comes to like, so for example, Chase, I think of the tellers, the bankers, all of them, right? The employees. But when it comes to Wells Fargo, they allow you to set up a booth outside on Fridays. So you can literally target their patients or their clients, and you can target them, right? So it's like a double win-win. So, but when it comes to Chase, the one near you, yeah, I would just think of them. And then from that point on, right, once they're like, I asked them, when's a good time to pick up the sign up sheet? Here's where you can determine if it's going to be a good partnership or a not so good one. It's going to take some work. If they say, oh, just come by, pick it up whenever, next week's anytime, right? Okay. You're like, oh, I'll pick it up whenever. I might see 3 names right on there. But if they say, hey, pick it up on Monday next week, then they have, or a specific time, they're having everybody in mind, their employees, maybe people at their home and their family.
So now they're thinking about you. If you can get them to start thinking about you, then you're in. How do you get somebody from, oh yeah, I'm not really into this, to them thinking about you? Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
Because I could see how our friends out there listening go in and they do everything to perfection, and you've got that nasty teller that now is annoyed, or I don't know, they're just having a bad day, didn't have their cup of coffee. How do you get them invested? Do you have an answer for that? Like, how do you get?
Yeah.
Is there an answer there, or it's just like, okay, whatever, let's move on to?
No, that's a good question. So typically, it's never the teller who comes up to you because they're busy, right? It's never the teller, the first person that comes up to you. It's more the person looking to grow the business, right? So it's a personal banker, somebody, right, looking to reach some quotas. So they're already invested no matter what, because they're like
quotas. Don't say quotas to bankers, right?
Yeah, they're bankers. Yeah. But normally they're already invested because they're like, okay, you still have that initial thing that you may send me people because you have my information, right?
That's the key. Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's the key. And then the small talk that you create with them within that time, that strengthens the relationship a little bit more.
I got it.
So now they're invested, but it's not always going to be a home run the first time. That's why it's consistency. You're probably gonna have to come back again, pick up the sign up sheet. That's your second date. And then you're going to come back a third time to ask for like, hey, can I have some more of your information? Right? Yeah, sure. They don't know if you just, put some in hygiene kits or whatever, right? Just ask for it. It's there. It's stocked up for years in their drawer, right? So you'd be like, can I have a little bit more of your information? Yeah, sure. Awesome. Right. And then you guys talk more, have as many dates as you want with this person. But if you feel like, hey, we're starting to see people come in, tellers, bankers, and everything, strengthen that relationship. But if you feel like, hey, you know what, I came back, you lost the sign up sheet, so I gave you another one. I came back again.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I only got like 2 people. Came back again. You lost it again. Maybe take some time to cool off, right? You don't have to delete it from your database, but take some time to cool off, and then maybe in 6 months revisit it and be like, what's up, guys? Can I, and then continue.
Okay. All right. So I love what you said there, because I'm sitting here trying to think how to get someone invested. But if they truly believe that you're invested in them, they will invest in you, is what I heard. Right?
You have to be, man.
I agree. I think you can't do this and not be legit thinking about helping them. I've had a long sales career. And still to this day, as a consultant, if I want anything from anybody, the first thing I do is figure out how I can help them. Because if I'm helping them, then they're going to want to help me. It's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. It's not a contract. It's not an obligation. And by the way, there's been plenty of people that I've helped a lot and never got anything back. But you chalk that up to a loss and you move on, to your point, right? And so I think it's just human nature to want to try to help each other, especially those that are helping you. And so do find a way to help Chase Bank somehow. And I love, and I love that you said, okay, so walk me through that, like, hey, referral, I'll give you a free whitening. Like, how do you position that without sounding weird? Like, hey, personal banker, I'd love to do something with you, and for that, I'll give you. That could be weird. People have a hard time selling people. Walk me through that part again.
So that's where you want to be like, if you're in your head too much, you're gonna think it's weird, Right. So you literally just come back. You're giving them the stuff they asked for, meaning here's some of our information, here's some flyers, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and at the same time, by the way, what we wanted to do just for you guys, just for you here, is we wanted to give you guys, boom, right? The free whitening or an incentive, or if you need any help, we're here right down the street. Just let us know. Right. A lot of our clients don't even have incentives. They just, whenever the people need them, and then their kids and whatever sign up, right? So yeah, you just say like that. They're like, okay, cool. And you will see them like sign up right then and there in front of you. Be like, okay, cool. I know you're signing up right now, but when's a good time to pick it up? Like, when do you think is a great day? Then they're going to let you know, right? Oh, let me think about it. Blah, blah, blah. I got to put it in the break room, all this stuff. And then they'll give you a date and then be like, cool, come back. But come back. I can't imagine doing this with not this specific script because this is the bank one, but imagine doing this with like all the banks in your. Eventually you might forget one, right? So that's why it's important to document all this, write it down and be like, I got to go back and pick it up.
We challenge our clients to get a spreadsheet and put all the top 20 people you're working and then columns out of how many touches, whether it's January, February, March, April, and then X's on how much you've touched them. So you don't release track of them, number one. And number two, going to also build out first, second, third, fourth touch, quote unquote, right? Like stopped by, had the call, picked up list, right?
Yeah,
like
no, that's really good.
And for specialists, let's pivot to specialists. This is the easiest one. Specialists get to go to GPs and try to get referrals. While we're on this topic of approaching small businesses to collaborate, let's pivot real quick to specialists. So is there a proper way, if you're a pediatric dentist, we do a lot of pedo coaching. If you're a pediatric dentist doing a startup, how do you approach the GP, the ortho, all the people? Is there a best way? I mean, that's really easy because they already kind of need someone, but they probably already have their relationships, and that's that 5-second rule probably that like stops my clients to go in, is because they're thinking, well, they already have relationships. I'm gonna leave.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, and that's what ground marketing is. It's less about getting attention and more about earning it, right? It's where genuine relationships lead to sustainable success. Yeah. And so when it comes to pediatrics, I mean, and you're trying to get with specialists, it's the same thing as like you're trying to partner up with any medical location, right? You want to walk in there, same thing. See how you can help them out. Be like, hey, can I have some of your information? And you're gonna be like, yeah, what do you need this information for, right? Do you have an appointment with us? What is it? And you're gonna let them know, oh, you know what, I'm with the dental practice, pediatric practice right down the street, blah, blah, blah. You know, you don't have to mention we just opened up or anything. You could if you want. But then if you start mentioning that stuff too much, they kind of start getting the gist. They're kind of like, oh, you're just here to promote yourself, right? In that middle. But if you're just like, if you're just short, sweet and say, hey, can I have some of your information? Oh, yeah, we're with the practice over here. Cool. Are you guys new? Wait for them to ask you. Then you're like, yeah, we're new. Right? Don't make it a big deal. Just that's it.
Play it cool. Yeah. Play it like I always, I played a lot of college sports, I played college sports, played a lot of sports in high school. And when people over celebrated, when I was the captain, the senior, I'd be like, bro, act like you've been there before. You score a goal, like just get back to your position and get ready, you know, like, act like you've been there. So what you're saying is act like you've been here before, act like you're already professional, exude the mentality of abundance, I suppose, is not scarcity. Exude that, right?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. And then from that point on, once you're like, yeah, you know, we do have information and things, you'll be surprised at how many times when you try to get in there and just walk in there and say, hey, I'd like to speak with the doctor. No, they're busy, even though they're eating lunch. But you'd be surprised with doing it this way. They're like, yeah, we have some information too. Did you want to speak with the doctor? They're going to be available in 5 minutes. That happens all the time. Yeah. Like, cool. Sure.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I might have to get going, but
yeah.
I got to get going, but I guess if he's got a minute, that's cool.
You're real easy about it. You're real cool. And then you have that FaceTime with the doctor. You're talking with them. You can maybe open up to them a little bit more, but then at the same time, you still want to leave with asking, hey, is it okay if I give you guys some of our information as well?
Yeah, right? I love that. Okay, so we've talked about all the kind of the stages. What's like the nailed it? Like what's the perfect situation approaching any small business, whether it's another dental professional or a bank? The perfect situation is get in there, introduce yourself, grab the stuff, set up an appointment, sign up sheet. Like what's like the perfect, we nailed that. And then if it didn't work and you nailed it, it might be good to cross them off and put someone else back on the list, because you can only work so many of these relationships at a time, in my opinion, right? And do it effectively. So if you nail it, is there, like, I'm just thinking about my old sales jobs. I would work someone for a year in my old job and be like, okay, it's not going anywhere. I could work somebody else for 6 months and have more success. So it's so what's the perfect, like, I know I nailed this. Awesome. Like, what's the like, are you with me?
Yeah. So it all depends on the locations or the businesses that you're going to, right? Because Chase would be like, or banks are different than, for example, apartments. If you nailed apartments, you know that you're doing events with them every month. You're getting their employees to come to your practice, and you're a part of their new move-in packets. That means like every new move-in family is seeing your information. If you hit the 333 on apartments or luxury apartments or anything like that, you nailed that, right? But that's apartments.
333.
Yeah.
What are the 333?
So you're a part of their new move-in packets, right? Yeah. Meaning every family new move-in, you're in there. I know the thing that gives you a thumbs up. Yeah. Second thing is you're a part of their events, all their events, right? And apartment complexes throw events all the time, right? Wine and cheese, pet day, whatever. That's and true. The third thing is their employees, technicians, and all that stuff are coming to your practice.
Yeah.
So
and I would say that it is a huge win to having. I get a lot of like, well, I'm not going to give them whitening for free, or I'm not going to like clean their teeth for free. I'm like, dude, do you realize this person, whoever this person is, this influencer, as I would call them, sees and influences 20 people, 30 people a month, and you're not going to give them a free cleaning to potentially get 5 of those people per month? Like, no brainer. So is that kind of your same philosophy, is hook up the influencers? Is that a thing with you?
Man, that's such a good question. I'm glad you asked that, because I say it, but I never do it. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you how I do this. So like, for example, hey, sign up for the free whitening, right? They sign up. And then from that point on, I give them a call. I'm like, hey, congratulations, Mike, on the free whitening, man. We're super excited to do this for you. Real quick, if you don't mind me asking, when was the last time you went to the dentist or got your checkup or got a cleaning? 9 times, I mean, not 9 times. This is just the number I put out of my butt, but like 9 times out of 10, right? But most of the times they'll say like, ooh, it's been a minute. It's been a minute, right? Unless they're looking for a second opinion or something specific. Oh, I just got to visit. But you know what I mean? I got to visit and I need another opinion on this, or I need something else, and I'm looking for a new dentist. Boom, you get them in for that. But if they're like, hey, it's been a minute, it's been a long time, I don't remember. Oh, okay, well, you know what? We do have to do exam and x-rays first, because the whitening gel can do more harm than good, and we don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to put you down for that real quick, but don't worry, we'll still make that happen. What day sounds best for you, right? This day or that day? Just give them 2 options.
So that's for the patients, right? I love that. So you're almost like doing a drawing, but giving everybody the whitening kind of a thing.
That's the one thing I hate, man, is when people are like, here's the raffle, here's the grand prize. What happens to everybody else who signed up?
I know. I agree. I 1,000%. I hate raffles for that reason, which is why people don't want to do raffles, because they never win.
Exactly. So make everybody win.
Guy where everybody win.
Yeah, make everybody the winner.
Everybody win. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were talking about patients, but I was talking about the influencers. So I'm
a with influencers
broker. Too. You don't do a raffle with them. You just hook them up, right?
Oh yeah. Eventually, I do
hook them up.
Yeah.
Because everybody fights me on this. It's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, they're going to influence 20 people. Hook them up, bring them in, like give them white glove treatment. Because why? I mean, isn't that a thing, right?
Yeah. There's a really good dentist out there. His name is, maybe you might not know him, Tyler Brady. Pretty big on social media. He owns Haven Dental.
Oh, okay. I feel like I've ran into him.
Yeah. And he has that philosophy. He's all about influencer marketing. And he's like, yeah, sometimes we do eat one. Sometimes we will be like, crap, they didn't bring us anybody or anything like that.
Of course.
But 9, like doing out of the people who do bring something, it's totally worth it, right? With the influencer, and he kind of lets you know, he just does it for free.
Dude, if I owned a dental business, this is exactly what I would do. I would go out, because this is how I've been trained in my sales career, to go out, find buddies, do stuff for them, help them grow their business. And then it just comes back without even me asking. Dentists should do the same. Find that real estate broker that's just a powerhouse that sees lots of people on the weekends, and hook them up so that they are talking about you. There's a book, I think it's the 7 Principles. If I'm screwing that up, I'm sorry. We'll put that down in the links below. But 7 Principles of Influence, the art of influence. I can't even think of the author. I'm so embarrassed. But look, the concepts are here. And it's, if I tell you, Michael, how great I am at Next Level, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, cool. He's a bragger. That's awesome. But if you are telling people that Michael's awesome, it goes up tenfold. I don't know what the statistic is. So getting enough people to talk about you is the most influential thing you could do. It's why, look, we're in politics right now. 7 days, I don't even know, from election time. Why do all these people try to get endorsements? Because of that one right there. They're trying to get endorsements. It's all fake news anyways. But sorry, bad topic. But but that's why they do it, is to get that endorsement. So what about social media? I know that I don't know if that's inside your lane or not, but like, I'm kind of thinking social media also. I have contracts for my clients of influencers, so you can get them to post and tag and all that stuff. Any comments on that before we flip to one topic that I wanted to hit today?
Yeah. When it comes to social media, I mean, I'm not like a super high expert on it, but I do have a lot of friends who kind of like touch on it, right? We have the pediatric dental marketing course where Manal Sampat teaches half of it. I teach the other half, the ground marketing, but she really like dives into that. And going into the specific of niching down. So niche as much as you can, right, down. So for example, if you're like, hey, my clientele is moms, right? You want to join these mom Facebook groups, be a part of it. Same thing, ground market on there. Like, help people out. Don't just go in there and promote and start talking about yourself. Nah, everything happens in the comments. And I'll tell you that from being the moderator of a lot of Facebook groups, especially in the dental field, maybe a lot of y'all know me because of that, is everything happens in the comments, right? So participate in the comments.
Love that.
Refer in the comments, things like that. Help other businesses in the comments. And they'll do the same.
It's the comments. It's the key is the comments, because you're trying to help them, and they're wanting something from you, and you can impact them in a way. I love that. All right. So we're 33 minutes in, totally engaging, great concepts, great conversation here. Where I want to take this is the kind of the last idea or thing I wanted to ask you, and that is events. All right. So like, I feel like events are not being done correctly. I give them coaching. Maybe I'm not the best coach. I don't know, but I try my best and get these folks to do things. So I'm envisioning right now, we're in October, timestamp has nothing to do with October, but just like I'm thinking right now, October fests, people are out and about with the kiddos and the candy, and there's people out. And that's the whole thing about an event, is there's people out. There's a thing going on where people are going to, and you could put yourself right in the middle of that. Michael, what's your playbook, high level? I want everybody to take your course after this interview, so don't give us all the trade secrets, but like, give me enough to impart what's a home run going to an event. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, generically?
So primarily, like when it comes to an event, you kind of have to do your research on it, right? Before you just go up there and show up. So let's say you did a research, you know what it's about, all that stuff, right? We get caught up so much on what to have on our table that we depend on that too much instead of depending on who is at the table. So we need to focus on who's our bubbliest, most go-getter, most outgoing person there, right? Get about 2 or 3 of them, right? The best thing would be to have 3, right?
3,
yeah. So
but you're a startup in a lot of cases. So that's your whole team.
That's everybody. Yeah. And I can't tell you how many times, if I have the doctor with me, the people showing up, especially cheeks in seats when they're in their chair, right in the operatory, it like skyrockets. It's amazing, right? So if the doctor shows up, I mean, people are gonna be like, "Oh my god, I just need to check my kid's teeth real quick. I just need to show them this or whatever," right? And then they show up. So I would say 3. If it's a startup, 2's fine as well, right? But one person behind the booth, right, or in front, or just one person managing the booth. They are the manager of the booth, and one person managing the vendors around, right? Because they're not your patients either.
Wait,
right?
vendors?
The other vendors, yeah.
I wasn't even thinking the vendors. Of course, the vendors. They're there to pick up people too.
Exactly, man.
Dude,
they're there to pick up people. So we get so fixated on the person coming up to the booth that we forget that like the vendors aren't our patients either. So you need that one person to go out there being like, "Hey, what's this business all about? Oh, cool. Oh my gosh, chiropractor. Yeah, definitely. You do this, blah, blah, blah," right? You mingle, you get their information, then you come back with a vendor sign-up sheet. Doesn't have to say vendor sign-up sheet, but it's the vendor, a thing that you're doing just for the vendors, and saying like, "Hey man, real quick, I know it's just y'all 3 here, but like what I wanted to do for you guys, if that's cool, is this. Would that be cool? Yeah, y'all can come next week and get it done." You've already created that relationship. They're like, yeah, put my name down.
And there it is. It's already ROI just from the vendors.
Yep.
Jeez.
Yep.
And okay. I love this because I do trade shows, dental trade shows. I don't do a lot of them. And I'm going to tell you right now, the most value, hey, doctors, listen up. The most value for me as a trade show guy is not talking to you. Sorry. Frankly, you guys don't even want to talk to me. You're more worried about your CE or catching up with your buddy that you haven't seen in 5 years, whatevs. Of course, I'm there to meet you, come up and say hi, but you guys never do. And so guess what? The whole reason I go is to do the vendors, is to talk to all my vendors, catch up with all my friends, learn about the industry, which is what you guys should be doing, is learning different technology. I'm a consultant. I want to know everything. So I'm going around, and it's like CE for me. I'm like a kid in a candy store learning about best practices of marketing, or, oh, some cool scanner that Sirona just came out with, or whatever. That's why I'm there. So I love this because 100%, a lot of business could be done with the vendors. Absolutely. So you're doing a deal just for vendors.
It could be the same thing as the sign-up sheet. It's just, I'm just grabbing another sign-up sheet and being like, "Hey guys, here." And that's what I'm saying. We fixate so much on the booth. What's on the booth? Is there a spin the wheel? Do we need an iPad for people to sign? Nobody cares about that. Nobody's ever said like, "I can't believe you have a sign-up sheet and not an iPad," right? What you want is the person at the booth. They're out there in the front talking to people, maybe answering questions, saying hi to everyone. Even if someone has their headphones on, you still say hi to them.
Yeah.
Stand up as much as possible. I mean, you don't have to always stand up, but do it as much as possible. Once you sit down, I mean, you're kind of start getting in. You will let one person pass by and you're like, "Oh, I'll let them pass by." You'll let another person pass by. "Oh, I already let the other person pass by. It's fine." No, you have to say hi to everyone. You have to be like, "Yeah, grab." And this is the easiest script ever.
Okay.
They're passing by.
I'll hit record. Oh, we already are recording. Okay. Go, Michael. Yeah.
They're passing by, and all you have to do is just say, if they look at you, just be like, "Hey, grab whatever you want. It's free." That's it. That's it. Just grab whatever you want. It's free.
People want free stuff.
And then they're like, "I can grab this." Like, yeah, it's free. But the thing is we want to make it look pretty on the booth, and we want everything convenience. And the name of the game at the booth is not convenience. You want them to linger as much as possible. So deconstruct the whole hygiene kit. Have a toothbrush, toothpaste, floss, mouthwash, and then the bag. And then just tell them, grab a little baggie, put one of each. And then as you're grabbing it, then you can say like, "Hey, you know what?
Like we're creating their own kit or something."
And then you can say like, "Hey, this month what we're doing is we're giving everybody here, boom, an incentive, right? Everybody's giving us their name and number, and I personally will give you a call to see when you can come on in this month." That's it. That's the person at the booth. And they're doing it with everyone. But the guy at the vendor, the guy who's shopping around with other vendors, he's the one talking up a little bit more. He's creating relationships. And here's the beautiful thing, Mike, about like the vendor thing, is once you get their business cards and everything, once you sign a couple of them up, you can go to their place of business the next day or the following day and be like, "What's up, guys? How's it going? Hey, I wanted to have some more of your information if possible to put it in more of our hygiene kits." They're gonna be like, "Yeah,
It's a double down. It's a double
yeah."
down.
And then you can leave a sign-up sheet for the rest of the employees there, right? So
It's so simple, man.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
simple. It's so easy to get business. Michael, I think it's important for everybody. I mean, we're 30 minutes and 40 minutes now into this program, and we didn't even tee you up on why you're the freaking guru. This is how you started. You started working for a dental office. You started doing all this stuff for them. You were driving an S load of patients to the practice, and you're getting compensated really well. And you're like, why don't I just teach people this? So it's not like Michael just came up with this stuff. He literally lived it, breathed it. Sounds like you're still doing it sometimes, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So
It's funny you mentioned about pediatric. I did one on ice cream shops, and ice cream shops are huge for pediatrics.
Duh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think pediatrics is the easiest one to grow. I'm a dad, 6, 8 years old. I go to soccer games. I'm the coach this year. I'm proud of it. It's fun. There's 100 parents, and of course they're interested in their kids, but about halftime parents could give a rat's. Like they're just kind of mingling with the other parents and just on their phones and stuff. Like the first halftime, it's like fun, but after that, it's like, okay, what do we got to do next? Like, so swim class, gymnastics, soccer, literally, they're all sitting around bored. And then of course they're interested, but when your kid's sitting on the bench, you're not interested anymore, right? So what a perfect opportunity for a pediatric dentist just to hand out, talk to people. It's the easiest thing because parents are so desperate for just not Netflix. We're so sick of Netflix, you know?
No, that's true, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, do you have kids by that?
No, I don't have any kids.
Okay.
No, I have nieces and nephews, but no kids, yeah.
Yeah, you're not locked down yet then on that. So I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I love it. You've got the vendor strategy. You've got the patient strategy. The patient strategy is keeping them at the booth as long as possible. Talk. Any other strategies other than that? I mean, you pretty much nailed it. Anything else to add? I am curious about the signups. We do QR codes sometimes. Like what is there any tips and tricks on how to get people to sign up? Is there a verbal skill that you could use?
Just basically, honestly, that's it. But when it comes to like the vendors and also the people at the booth, that's all one strategy, right? So I don't want people to think like we got to do those two separate. No, this is all one thing to make it super successful, right? If you're doing less than that, then you're not going to make it super successful. Just know that, right?
Yeah.
But if you're doing all that, you're going to make it super successful, right? So then when it comes to people signing up and things like that, try to always have the ball in your court. Try to never be like, yeah, just scan this and put your name and number down and I'll see you. That's the whole ball's in their court, right?
That's right.
So that's why, I mean, you could have QR codes, you could do all that stuff, but I would rather get their information. And now the ball's in my court. I have to call you. And it's super easy. Yeah.
Hey, can I get your information? I love that. Exactly right. It's so funny because, again, trade shows, Next Level, if you ever come to Next Level's trade show, we will literally not put it ever in your hands. What's your name, doc? We want Michael to call you. We want Paula to call you. Okay, cool. Phone number. Like, don't sign up for anything. We'll sign you up. I love that. I think that's genius. Buddy, you've given us gold. Can we take a hot minute and just talk about your program? Because I think this program, your program, I don't usually tell people to just start selling themselves, but I would like you to. Now everybody's heard you talk tips and tricks and verbiage and strategy and all these things. Well, there's probably 10 times this in your program. Can you give us a little bit about what that program looks like?
Yeah, it's the ground marketing course. So if you just Google the ground marketing course or just ground marketing, you'll find it. And yeah, on there I teach you basically a much slower version. I kind of talk fast sometimes, but
no, me too.
Yeah, it's a much slower. So if you ever wanted to know how to get into any of the businesses, right? Because we get real specific: schools, daycares, local businesses, medical locations, senior citizens' homes, apartments, right? Amazon fulfillment centers, corporations, all these locations. We teach you all that, and then also how to follow up with them, create the strategy on how to make the phone calls and things like that. So, and it's an ever-growing course. So eventually it's going to be stopped. I'm going to stop calling it a course and just like a library or something, because we're always adding more, right, to it whenever I do more, our team does more. So yeah.
Yeah. So you're just constantly every year adding, just keep adding. So that named a few things, all those different ways and different things. Michael, one thing I'm going to start asking my guests is tell us one thing that the audience wouldn't know about you otherwise. Let's get to know Michael a little bit. What's a fun fact about you or a hidden talent that not too many people know?
Man, I don't know. That's a.
I got him. I got him.
I think there's too much that people don't know. I mean,
there's too much. Just give me one then.
Okay. One that's quick on my mind is I play the drums.
Oh, that's badass.
I'm a drummer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you in a band?
It used to be like a long time ago, but not anymore. Yeah.
You're too grown up for that. Right.
You eventually move into an apartment and then and all that stuff, and you're like, people, it's too loud, and so
this is why you don't have any kids. I don't even know if you're dating. If you were a drummer, maybe you'd have kids. I don't know.
I'm married. I am married.
Oh, you are married. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
married,
Okay, she doesn't think you're cool anymore. You're not a drummer. That's awesome. That's super cool, buddy. Drummer. Okay, cool. So next time we talk, I'll be asking you about your favorite drum set. So, all right, brother. Well, as always. Awesome stuff. The course and the information about Michael's companies and his podcast and all the things he's into will be down below in the description, folks. Again, I'd like to remind you, subscribe, like, follow Dental Unscripted and get away from Startup Unscripted and get away from Dental Acquisition Unscripted because we're moving everything in that direction. And I just don't want you guys to fall off the map. So thanks again, Michael, for being on the program. And that's a wrap. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon, buddy.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening. Let us know how you like the show. Rate us on Apple and Spotify. Subscribe and follow for more.